Hey y'all, before I get into this video, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share. So I was gonna give y'all a funny video, but after watching Till video, I want to get into being in toxic relationships, and I'm gonna tell y'all about a toxic relationship that I had. But before I get into that story, I'm gonna speak on something that's been on my heart. Most of the time, us as women, we deal with a lot of fuck shit from within our relationships because of the love that we were lacking or that we were looking for as kids. Um, I'm not trying to put nothing out and, try to make nobody feel bad, but like that's my story and this how I feel. So, growing up, I didn't get hugs and kisses and you beautiful, or what what's wrong, what's going on with you, how your day been. I didn't get none of that. And like still to this day, I don't. I didn't know my father. He wasn't around. Um so it was a lot of stuff that I was lacking and that I was looking for in relationships. And I had to sit back and think and evaluate things once I started having kids, and once my kids started getting older and going through things, and I seen a lot of things. I'm not gonna say I'm perfect, I'm not gonna say I'm imperfect, but I seen a lot of things um transpiring with my oldest daughter that I started seeing things that she was going through and things that were happening with her that I had happened to me, and I didn't want her to go through that and have to experience that that hard type of love that I'm willing to accept anything because he said that he loved me. I didn't want her to have to deal with that, looking for love and acceptance, and I just didn't want her to have to go through that. So when things started going on with her, and and I was saying it, and I was like, this I just can't. And everybody heard and know about generational curses. That shit is true. It's very true. And my mom was a teenage mom. I was a teenage mom. I didn't want them to go through that. I didn't want them to have to struggle and go through that and have somebody break them down mentally or physically. And when I you know when I got pregnant with her, I I was still in high school. I wasn't living with my mom. My mom had moved out of town. I was living with an aunt. And basically, I was wilding. I was, I thought I was grown. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me what to do. You can't, nothing. So I was wilding. So, um, it was my senior year, and Like, this was right before my senior year. I went through my whole senior year pregnant. So, um, I found out I was pregnant, and everybody, like family, they like talk down on me, talk bad about me. They was like, she ain't gonna do nothing with herself. She ain't gonna graduate. She gonna drop out. She gonna be this. She gonna do this. She gonna, it was just so me being the person that I am, and I'm an Aries, so we don't like to be counted down and counted out on. So I'm like, fuck what they talking about. I'm gonna go to school. This is my last year. I'm gonna graduate. I'm a, I'm gonna do what I have to do. So I I did that. I went through my whole entire senior year pregnant with my daughter. I had my daughter 6 days after I graduated. I had to be carried across the stage because I was like I was due. So I, you know, um, during that time, I wasn't really dealing with my daughter's father because I don't know, I ain't like him while I was pregnant. I didn't. So, when I had her, we, I guess, got back together or whatever. Yeah, got back together. And, he was, he was mentally and tried to be physically abusive, but I'ma fight back. So, like I said, I really didn't have no one that I could rely on. I didn't like, I was just basically on my own. So, um, his grandparents, they tried to help us out. They had a house, and they had two houses. So they had a house that his sister had, and she got married, they moved out. So they still had this house. So they allowed us to move in this house. And that's when everything just went bad. So that's when the fight started. And it wasn't like he was just like fighting me. We was both fighting. So I finally said, enough. That was enough. It was enough for me. Um, we had got into it. We had a fight, and I said I was leaving, and he took my daughter, and I don't know where he went. So I called the police. The police found them, brought my daughter back, and I left. So we hadn't been together in for a while. So I started, getting out and meeting people and, hang, I was only 19, 18, 19 at the time. So, when he's saying that I wasn't, paying him no attention and none of that, then, that's when in his head it started, like, let me try to do whoop. So it started, I just want to see my daughter. I want to talk to my daughter and blah, blah, this. And me being gullible and dumb, I let him come back around, and he swindled his way back in. We got back in a relationship, and shortly thereafter, the fight started again and everything. So, um, one day we had a real bad fight, and um, I had put him out. He left. So a couple of weeks later, I wasn't feeling good. I thought I had the flu. I went to the hospital, pregnant again. my baby was only um, 1, because they were actually due on the same date, which would have made them exactly 2 years apart, but they like 11 months and 20 days apart, something like that. But I was pregnant again. So I was distraught. I didn't know, I didn't know what to do. I really, I didn't want to be pregnant again. So he was, he was gone. I had, when I had put him out, he was gone. So during the pregnancy, I was real sick. Like I couldn't eat, I couldn't, nothing. Like the baby didn't like nothing. So I let him come back to help me with our daughter. So, it wasn't no fighting, but it was still the arguing and bickering, and it was just too much. So I went into labor with my son, and it was a hard labor. Like it was horrible. So we're at the hospital, and I'm going through this hard labor. Like it it was horrible. Like the whole pregnancy, the labor, everything, it was horrible. So instead of him um trying to comfort me and make sure I'm okay, and he act like he was the damn patient. So I got mad. I'm like, I'm like, just something just clicked. Like it's it's not, it's not. So I told him to leave the hospital, and I told him when I got home that he needed to be gone, because like, mm-mm. But when I got home, I had a finna be 2-year-old, and I had a infant. So I let him stay. So the first couple of weeks, he wasn't doing nothing, like absolutely nothing. So I'm like, both of these is your kids, and you see I'm having to deal with the baby, and my son, he cried all the time, all the time. I'm like, and you can't even help me with her, and it was just too much. So I told him, I was like, I'm gonna let you see how I feel where I don't do anything. So I'm not doing nothing. Like nothing. When the babies cry, you figure it out. When the baby's hungry, you figure it out. I'm not doing nothing. So I believe I had postpartum. I sat on the couch for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, he said enough was enough. Like he couldn't deal with it. He can't do it. So the arguments and the fights started back. So one day, I believe my son was probably about a month. One day he came in from somewhere. I don't even know where he had went. And I was mad because, like I had been in the house with the kids all day, and like, where was you at? Like you wasn't working. Where was you at? So we gets to arguing. So I'm telling him, I'm like, you know what? I can't no more. Like, you gotta go. I can't. So, his grandmother had gave us, back then they had like the box TVs, the big, the big box TVs. So he was like, well, when if I gotta go, I'm gonna take the damn TV. And first of all, sir, you on the bus, so how you gonna take the damn TV? You can't even pick it up. I'm gonna take the TV and move. I guess that was his way to manipulate me to, let him stay. So my ignorant ass, I goes in the kitchen and get the hammer and I bust the screen on the TV and pushed it out the door. Like, take it. Won't nobody watch it. How dare you take this TV from your daughter? So he was like, all right, I'ma leave. Bet I'ma leave. I'm like, good. So he tells me, well, if you don't want to be with me and you making me leave, I ain't doing shit for them kids. And that's what he did. But I love my kids to death. But after that first one, I should have never put myself in that situation again, knowing that he was barely helping with the first one. I should have never. But like I said, you don't, like, when you don't know, like, and when you looking for this family structure and you want your kids to have their dad, and because you didn't have your dad, and people, your childhood, it it tears you up. If your childhood wasn't right, it tears you up. And it was a lot of stuff, like that I dealt with. It was a lot of stuff that Tell dealt with, and a lot of things um is what bonded us together. She was my backbone and I was her backbone, and that's what bonded us and made us so close, made us family, because we helped each other through a lot of things. And the family member that she was talking about, she helped us. It wasn't just Chantel. She helped us, both of us, with a lot of things. And I was telling Tell, like, it was because she was older and some things she had went through, so she was able to tell us, like, you ain't got to take that, or you don't have to deal with that, or um you need somebody to talk to, you can come talk. You need somewhere to lay, you need somewhere to stay, or you want to get away, or you can come here. My door is always open. And I am so grateful for her for a lot of things. Like, because like I said, I couldn't I couldn't go to my mother and say, oh, well, such and such going on because I did this and he did this and he did that, because it'd be all over the place. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go to her and say, well, I need you to help me with this, or I need you to help me with that, because she wouldn't do it. And I'm not trying to knock her or talk bad against her and nothing, but I have learned, like, that you can love somebody, but you can love that person from afar. You don't have to keep relationships that are draining, that take from you, that break you down mentally. Because when they break you down mentally, it breaks you down physically. And I'm not trying to talk bad on her or talk down on her, but I'm speaking on my life and what I went through and what I feel. And that it is what it is. But with my kids, I talk to them. I try to be there for them. I try to uplift them. I try to motivate them. And I believe if I had that growing up, that I would be a whole lot different and things would be a whole lot better. I'm not saying that nothing's horrible or bad, but I could be more advanced in where I am in life. I probably wouldn't have 4 children. Even though I love them to death, I would never, say that I wish that I didn't have them. Never. Because that's not that. They made me stronger. They made me want to do better. They made me want to have better relationships and things like that. I didn't want them seeing me arguing and fighting, and I didn't want that. So they made me better, and I love them for that. But I'm just saying, like, if I would have had the support that I give to them, I would be much more advanced in things that I wanted to do, because every kid always had a dream. I didn't get to live my dream because I was out there being wild and I didn't have, somebody with their foot on my neck saying, no, this what you gonna do and this is what's required of you. And, so I'm not blaming nobody for what I chose to do, because I thought I was grown. And because I thought I was grown, I had to put on my big girl panties and I had to do what I had to do for me and my children. And like I said, relationships, if the relationship don't mean you no good, I don't care who it is. Your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your kids, if that person is steady taken from your mental, taken from your spiritual, taken from your emotional, let it go. I'm not saying like be a hard ass and cuss them out and none of that, because I believe in respecting your mother and your father. I don't care what the situation is. I would never, cuss my mother out or try to fight her or none of that. My father found out he passed away, and but I still would never cuss him or none of that. But I can give you some let long and let you go on about your business, because I don't have the energy. I don't have the patience for any of that now. My kids are at the ages now where they they kids never not need you to mold them or be there for them, but now they're going into their stages of adulthood and they're having children, and I'm trying to enjoy my grandchildren and trying to enjoy my children in a different stage of their life. They're not at that stage now where I have to be on them about homework and stuff like that. It's a whole different dynamic, and I feel like I put in my hard work with them, so now I get to enjoy them. So anything that's caused me stress or anything like that, I don't want it around me. So I know this video might be kind of all over the place, but all I'm saying is protect your energy, protect your children. Try to break these generational curses because they can be broken. You sit back and you evaluate yourself and you see how you think about how certain things that your parents did made you feel, and then you think about how you wouldn't want your kid to feel that way. You can break it. My kids, they were all out of their teens before. Only my sons have kids. They were all out of their teens before they had kids. My daughters don't have any children. My oldest will be 26. She doesn't have any children. She wants to live her life. She likes to travel. She likes to shop. She likes to do just her. And she can do that because she don't have a baby tying her down. So I made this video to say that toxic situations stem from down the line. So if you grew up in toxic situations, once you get older, you deal with that. If you didn't have the love and the support, anything can come. That old saying, a wolf in sheep's clothing, you don't know, because you looking for love. You looking for somebody that you think gonna be there for you, somebody that you think gonna give you what it is that you're missing, and not knowing that it's all a facade. And once that curtain come down, then you stuck until you gather up the strength to get out of it. So I'm gonna end this video on that note, and I got in a little bit about my kid's father, my oldest kid's father, but I'm gonna get into the real bad toxic relationship that I was in for a long time. So we're gonna end this video, but remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.